What we're going to go over now really quick is just looking at avoiding flash fires as a follow-up to yesterday's discussion in the video here. And now when you go to gas stations, you should see some kind of sign. Have you guys seen this when you've been getting your gas? Usually you don't pay attention, right? Because you're just trying to like wash your windows or throw out the garbage, or you just space out, or you got the radio on, okay? But there should be a sign that warns you about static explosion spark hazard, okay? And the number one mistake is people fill portable containers like in the back of their pickup truck if they have one, or on a carpeted floor mat, okay? What's the right way, guys? Remember? You always put it on the what? On the ground, okay? Otherwise, it might blow up, and then you will die, which is not cool, right? Okay? Causing serious injury or death. And in the wintertime, it's more dangerous versus the summer. Why? In the summer versus winter, okay, in the summer it's really wet. There's a lot more humidity. So water in the air, does water have charges in it? Yeah, you betcha, right? Water's good old H2O. So anything that's made out of matter, okay, just stuff, is naturally electrical, right? And so water, especially because it's what's called a polar molecule, we'll look at this later on, likes to grab charges and then redistribute them so that everything's neutral and balanced. So that's why in the summer you don't tend to get shocked as much. But when you tend to notice static charges a lot, like when you get your laundry or you comb your hair, you notice that more in the what? In the winter, okay, when the air is really dry, exactly, okay? This was a little article I got from a friend. It was in U.S. Air Force Safety Bulletin, okay? And it was a little warning they put out. Pickup trucks with bedliners. I want to relate an incident that happened to a friend of mine the other day. He was filling a small gas can that was inside the bed of his pickup, which has a bedliner in it. You guys know what a bedliner is? It's just like a rubber or plastic mat that protects the bottom of your pickup. Okay, if we were from Texas, I wouldn't have to ask you. The gasoline spontaneously ignited, burning him in the process. Is that good or bad? That's very bad. The investigation determined that this was caused by static electricity buildup from the bedliner. I've since learned that this is not uncommon. In fact, there are 2 technical bulletins out on this. Ironically, okay, one of these companies was wrong, even though this is what they do for a living, right? One is from the Ford Motor Corporation. The other is from Standard Oil Company. You guys know what Standard Oil Company it's now called? It's now no longer Amoco, but it's BP, right? They got merged and bought out by British Petroleum. Yeah, okay? The recommendations on both are that you should never fill a gas can in the bed of a truck with bedliner. Instead, you should do what? This is key here, what? Put the what? Container on the ground, okay? This is what's funny. The Ford guy screwed up. The Ford bulletin also stated that placing a rubber mat under the bedliner would alleviate the problem. However, a friend of mine had already done that, and the gasoline still ignited. Oops, pretty dumb, right? Okay? This leaves the only way to fill a gas can is to place them on the ground, okay? So what caused the gasoline to ignite? Okay, what's that old saying, guys? Remember, a picture is worth a what? 1,000 words, okay? So you probably wrote out something. I'm just going to help you guys see this by just drawing a little picture. Here's my pickup truck, okay? Mr. Lau is not a fancy artist, okay? Here I got my gas can here, okay? And I'm trying to fill it up with the fuel dispenser, right? Let's say this is the fuel dispenser here. Okay? Question. Is there charges inside gasoline? Yeah, you betcha. There's charges in like everything, right? Because the atom itself is electrical. There's positive and negative charges. It's not neutral, right? So what might happen as that gasoline rushes into that tank and it rubs against the container there? What might happen? It might build up charge by what? By which method? By friction, exactly. So let's say, for the sake of argument, a lot of negative charges start to build up on the container. Suddenly, what's going to happen if you get enough charge building up? Aha, okay, it's just like when you rub your feet on the carpet on a dry day in your family room, right? And part of the computer lab you're going to do, this little computer simulation is called John Travoltage. It's just kind of silly here, okay? But what happens is, as you rub your feet on the carpet, dum-de-dum-de-dum, okay, it's kind of silly, you can build up a lot of static charge on your body. And then if too much builds up, bam, you get a little spark. And in this case, touching a doorknob, no biggie, right? Touching a doorknob's not going to hurt you, right? Being his finger, oh, okay, get a little spark. However, spark by a gas tank, is that a good idea or a bad idea? Bad idea, okay? And exactly, that's exactly what can happen when you have a static fire. As too much charge accumulates on your body, you go to touch the fuel dispenser nozzle, and unfortunately, big spark could ignite the fire, okay? And like in the video we saw off of Fox News, unfortunately there was that lady out in Lyle, right? She got serious burns on her body, and they weren't able to save her. She died, which is sad. She's just buying gas. So Especially ladies, you're at risk because why? You get in and out of your car to get your what? How do you carry your money? Most of you. In a purse, right? In your purse, right? And as you rub against the seats of your car, especially if they're cloth, what can you build up on your body? A lot of what? A lot of static charge, right? And then you get that big old nasty zap. You're in big trouble, yeah? So, what do you have to do to be safe? Simply touch what? Just touch the what on your car? Just touch the side of your car, right? Or the fuel dispenser. Anything metal, because now you provide a path to what? So you don't get zapped. You just provide a path to ground before you touch the fuel dispenser, okay? Charge accumulates, and then suddenly you get this big nasty spark, and then you're in trouble, okay? So what would prevent a buildup of charge? Using an insulator or a conductor. What would have made this safer? Ironically, you would want to use a what? A conductor, okay? Because instead of having a rubber or plastic mat, if we actually had something that was like metal or a wire, we could feed to the ground. This is the electrical symbol for ground. 3 lines that get shorter. Any charges that accumulate would simply then get drained into the what? It would just go into the what? Into the ground, so you'd be safe, okay? So unfortunately, even though Ford said use a rubber bed liner, a rubber bed liner actually acts as a what? An insulator. So actually more charge actually built up. It actually increased the risk. So this is an example of what you don't see and what you don't understand can kill you, right? So in general, why is the ground a safe place to fill a gas can on? Well, if you have a gas can just sitting on the ground, okay, and you got your fuel dispenser, okay, trying to build up charge on here, what's going to happen to the electrons that accumulate? They'll simply do what? If it's sitting on the ground, they'll just eventually just go into the what? Into the ground, exactly. This is the electrical symbol for ground. 3 lines that get shorter, okay? So in other words, the charge won't build up. Now, when would the ground not be safe? Can you think of an example? Sure, Christine. Okay, water could be dangerous, but more importantly, if there's what? If there's gas on the ground, right? Because sometimes, okay, people spill or drip a little bit, okay? Finally, practical application is, why do gas trucks connect a metal wire between the truck and the refilled gas tank? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but every so often a gas station actually has to refill, right? So a big old tanker comes in filled with gasoline, okay? And they actually like refill. Usually there's like a hole in the ground, and they feed a hose there, and they pump all the gas in, right? But if you look closely, a lot of times, if they know what they're doing, there's actually like a metal wire that they connect to the ground. Okay, and again, why would you want to do that? Because, bingo, if there's any static charge that builds up, it'll simply drain into the what? Into the earth. Okay? And there you have it, just a basic understanding of electrostatics. Okay?